God, I just love her glasses too. I want a pair. Here we go.
Did that really just happen? Have I actually understood?
One thing I did notice, every single time that she sings, do you notice that the wind picks up? Every single time. Like, if she's outside at all, it's like her emotions are controlling the weather as well. Which I also got to notice that her singing, she's doing the monologue starting of singing, but I don't know how she gets all this amazing sound out when she's barely even opening her mouth. It's so controlled.
This weird quirk I've tried to suppress or hide.
That delivery of or hide. If you are a fan of Wicked, you know we always pause before we say or hide because that's how the original went. But the notes that she chose there was more a question. But God, how do you describe it? It wasn't even like a full question. It was like or hide, as in like she's just understanding at that moment that she's hiding it, right? There's a little distinction because then she leads in from there to a stronger voice coming in or meet the wizard, right?
Is a talent that could help me meet the wizard.
And the help, the way that she hits it and then elongates it, but she adds an excess air, H. It's almost like right in the stomach area, and she hits it with tension because it's the first time in the song that we hear her really open up, which is meet the wizard, right? This makes sense for her to open up the most here as the first point because this is the point where she's talking about her biggest dream is, but she hits it with this air, and then that air, there's a hit, but it's hard. Help me meet. Then she goes into a blend. Meet the wizard.
Meet the wizard.
Yes. Oh, meet. She hits right off at the end of it. We don't get any resolution of the vibrato until the wizard. It's da 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 da. Then we get the vibrato at the very end to resolve that as she brings it back down again. God, the dynamics on this already. And we're like 10 seconds into this dang song, man.
I'll make good.
No, we gotta do the lead-in before we get into this masterpiece section. She is so small on some of this and so short. It's so short. It's so small and so short. She's purposely making this entire section more inward and spoken. She only gives us a taste of her power on Meet the Wizard. All the rest of this whole beginning section is very controlled and small. I wouldn't even say delicate because I think of delicate as more airy tone. These are very connected notes. They're not excess airy, but they're just small. Oh, and she makes so small and then holds on the good as we lead in. Here we go.
When I meet the wizard, once I prove my worth, then I meet the wizard, what I've waited for since birth.
God, that waited for. But the way that she hit that was waited for since, and then into speaking since birth. We are all over the place. She is small, she is bold, then she's quiet again, and then we get to see in this song her emotions develop and become stronger as she starts to find out that she's magical, right? These aren't things that she should necessarily be hiding. These are all things that she's been so ashamed of, but now she's finding out maybe these have always been amazing. And we get to see this development because if you think about it, her character has always been ashamed of this, hiding it and ashamed. And now that exact thing is what's getting her to see the wizard. It wouldn't be an instant thing. I like seeing this development that we have in the song that she's giving us vocally to show where she's starting to change the way she thinks about herself. And this wouldn't be a quick transition. So I love that we're getting this slow burn throughout this song to see that transition.
Since birth, and
oh, you could feel that since birth.
By my looks, you won't be blinded. Do you think the wizard is dumb? Or like Munchkin, so small-minded? No, he'll say to me, I see who you truly are.
Oh, and right there, we listen to this and we're like, oh, sounds nice. Have you tried to hit that note? He'll say to me, that's me even mixing. He'll say to me, oh God, it's hard. It's right, at least for me, it's right on my break. But she's making it seem effortless, like it's easy. And then you go to sing it and you're like, he'll say to me, you're like, ah, you know? But, because even when I go up for it, he'll say to me, sounds too blended. He'll say to me. I don't know how she's getting this beautiful blended belt that doesn't sound too clean. It sounds so spoken and easy. And then you go to sing and you're like, oh shit, you know? That's when you know it's true talent. That's when you know that someone has such a high level of skill, is because it seems so easy and then you try to do it and you're a beautiful disaster, you know? And you're like, oh, wow. But it's done so well that it seems easy until you try.
A girl on whom I can rely, and that's how we'll begin. The wizard and I.
Oh my God. Oh, it's just so good, you guys. I am fanning so hard right now, and I hope you're with me on this. Like, how is she doing this so solidly, so well? And then that low, juicy note, it's so good. Like, I am a huge fan of her singing Stand Up from the Harriet soundtrack, and some of her lows in there, oh God, they're just so internal and so like just grounded in there. And this character doesn't have that as much, but we do feel it on that little bit. The wizard and I. It's just so full. And you don't normally get that from a singer with her range, because a lot of this depth and this fullness comes from how thick the vocal cords are. So if your vocal cords are thicker and shorter, you're going to be able to hit low notes deeper and fuller sounding. Whereas if they're thinner and longer, you're going to be able to hit high notes much brighter and easier. But she has such a wide range. It's really remarkable. It really is.
Once I'm with the wizard, my whole life will change. Once you're with the wizard, no one thinks you're strange. No father is not proud of you.
Just the expressions in her face as well as she's going through all of this. There's so many transitions happening. No father who's not proud of you. You could feel it, like there's such a want and a drive behind her to just be loved and accepted. I mean, really, truly, that is Elphaba. As much as she has this harsh exterior, she's really just wanting people to love and accept her. It's kind of like the scene where, you know, she's doing her dance and Fiyero says, oh, she doesn't care what anyone else thinks. And then Galinda, who knows her so well now, says she does. She just doesn't want anyone to know. And you can see this want and this love wanted within her expressions over and over again.
Not proud of you.
That softness there too.
And all of us has to love you when by the wizard you're acclaimed.
And all of Oz has to love you. This again is another time when we really get her to really start to open up her vocals. It's on the line of, and all of Oz has to love you. She just opens up here, even with her arms, with her body, with her movement, and with her voice. It's a section where we get a little bit more of her. You can feel her want more. She wants all of Oz to love her. And I think it's really interesting because she's saying not all of Oz will love her. It's all of Oz has to love her, which gives us also that feeling of like she doesn't really think that there's still that part, there's still that battle, right? The little battle of her that thinks that she doesn't deserve that love. But now they have to love her. There's a little bit in there. There could also be a little bit of witchery in that, a little bit of dark, bad character, right? Because they have to love you. Not that they will love you or they should love you or they do love you. It's they have to love you. It can be either or. It could be a mix of both, of like, I'm gonna make you love me, along with a little bit of real like not being able to fully accept the idea that they could just love her because they want to love her. And that's the moment that we get a big opening from her, that moment.
Can this gift or this curse?
And this gift, usually it's sung, and this gift or this curse, right? But she's putting a little bit of extra on this curse, or this gift or this curse, or this curse, right? We have a little bit.
I have inside, maybe at last I'll know why, as we work hand in hand.
And the last. I love the last. And oh God, there's so many little words that she's choosing to put an accent on. So if we listen in.
Maybe at last I'll know
Last.
why,
Oh, the voice break
as
there.
we work
Yes.
hand in hand, the wizard and I.
Oh my God, it's so good. She's giving us again another lead in. Musically, we have another lead in. And if you notice, each time she starts to do this lead in, she did it earlier when she was on the little stones and the rocks, and we have our transition. Each time she does this, we have a scene location change as well. There's just so many layers to this movie on the way that it's filmed, the sets, the background. We just had people like, run away from her, scared, right? There's her expressions, there's her singing, there's her acting, I feel like all the levels on this movie were on point. They all have something to say. I mean, I am here focusing on the vocals, but realistically, you could put someone else in this seat right afterwards and they could do the same section and talk all about cinematography, all about how one scene is developing into the next scene, transitioning into the next scene. And watch how everything starts to change, especially with this note.
The wizard and I. And one day he'll say to me,
We come
Alpha,
into this new
a
land.
girl who is so superior.
And did you notice that her high notes came out in this song as we finally open up into this space?
Shouldn't a girl who's so good inside.
If you are watching this on YouTube, you are only getting the highlights. You're not getting the entire video because YouTube blocks all of it. This reaction was actually 50 minutes long. Yes, that is how amazing she is. And you can only watch that by coming on over to my Patreon. Now, on Patreon, we have the full movie reaction right now. I've watched the entire thing. It is there for you to watch along with me, as well as several different extended editions, song breakdowns with new ones coming out all the time. We also have extended reactions to Excuse Me, I Love You concert by Ariana Grande, her SNL episode, and we also will be rewatching this movie with all of the behind the scenes information. There's also bonus scenes and exclusive scene reactions. There is just so much wicked content over there. It is a way that you support my channel so I can do what I can do. And right now you can even sign up for free. So I will be sure to put that link down below. Go click it right now.
Have a matching exterior, and since folks here to an absurd degree.
And this whole section is so that's me in my mixed voice and a softer voice. I don't know. She is just so strong in that mixed voice. It sounds like a belt, but it sounds like such an amazing controlled belt. And she's hanging out there over and over, note after note, as she's just casually walking along. Why? Because she's fucking amazing. Okay, that's why. That's why.
Seem fixated on your verdigris. Would it be alright by you?
All right by you. Again. Hit, lead.
If I degree enough.
And do you notice?
by you.
This whole section here, again, we're talking about the video and the film, and I haven't even read any of your guys' comments about looking out for certain things or noticing certain things, which we will do a rewatch on my Patreon where we are going to read what's coming up, things to look out for, and then we'll watch that section. And then we'll read what's coming up and then we'll watch that section. So what I'm pointing out are things that I've just noticed, but oh my gosh, man, when I get all of your guys' comments coming in, we're creating an Excel spreadsheet right now, and once that is all set, there's going to be so much to look out for. But one of the things I did notice here is that she goes from looking in the green tinted window or mirror, talking about her coloring, and then she turns around and she changes color, right? Because she goes through all the spectrums of all the different colors, and it lines up with the idea of her deciding that would she want to no longer be green, degreenify you know, and that option of it. See the coloring change?
And though of course All right, why not? I'll reply. Oh.
Ah, it's so good. Oh my God. It's so good. She is leaning back. I think you guys have heard me talk about this before. It is so hard to sing and lean back. I don't know why sometimes singers try to do that when they're hitting a high note and they do kind of this head back thing. I think it makes it look cool, but in reality, it's hard. And if you don't believe me, try singing a high note and then lean back. So if you're like, ah, if you notice when you start to lean back, your core has to tighten because now your weight isn't being evenly distributed throughout your whole body. Your upper half of your entire body weight is now leaning back. And when it does that, the core, the stomach area, has to tighten up. Otherwise, you just fall backwards. You have to have that balance between the two sections of your body or else you fall. When you do that, it tightens up your core area. That is like the biggest no-no for singing. You do not want to tighten up your core. You want to support, which means putting the weight into your legs, into your thighs, tucking your butt in, thinking of the sound heading down. That's supporting, but that's actually relaxing and opening that area. Little tidbit of information. Back in the day when you had opera singers who would wear these corsets, because I've heard people say, well, what about all the people that wear corsets? They can't breathe. Actually, there were corsets that were designed for opera singers that had expanding back chest plates so they could breathe. Otherwise, they would have passed out. They would not have been able to sing the way that they sing because they would not have had control of that diaphragm area. She is leaning back here, and that is putting the weight and the tension in her core, which puts less control over that diaphragm area and your breath support and your tension. Yet she's nailing it. I think the only other time I've ever mentioned this in a singer who was doing this was Beyonce. I believe it was the song where she was like in the chair and she was like leaning back in the chair or something like that and she was singing and I was like, holy shit, because it's really hard. Usually when I teach someone how to sing a high note, I actually have them hunch all the way over and forward because we want them to be totally relaxed on that diaphragm area. Back. Back. And you can maybe hear it. I mean, I'm being really fucking picky right here, but you can maybe hear a little bit of the tension as she's leaning back. It does kind of thin it out a little bit, but oh my God, it could also have been a choice of hers there too.
All right, why not? I'll reply.
And it could be that breath. Do you hear that breath? So she goes that part almost sounds like she's running out of breath. It's probably from leaning back. And then she takes a big breath. All right. And then comes right forward into a full loaded voice. Here.
All right, why not?
And then into that full breath.
What a pair will be, the wizard and I.
Oh! Watch this beautiful mouth. Look at that tongue. There is a divot where the tongue goes down and makes this space. There's a space here. Notice how her tongue is perfectly set behind her front teeth, not forward, not pulled back. There's not a pullback because the tongue actually goes all the way back to the end of your jawline and down. So if the tongue pulls back, it will close up your throat. That's why you would get like a you can hear it opening and closing. That's the tongue pulling back and closing the epiglottis. With the tongue forward where she has it placed, it's perfectly in alignment. And there is a dip on her tongue where it goes down and back up. That is to help the tongue go flat as much as possible and allow as much space. Ha 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 ha. I don't know if you can see that. I can't see myself on there. I'm like trying to look in the reflection thing as well. But that, as she drops the tongue down, it's not lifted and forward. And look at the flared perfect nose. Oh, I love it. Which helps this area here pop open. It creates the space because we have sound that comes out of the mouth. We have a certain level of overtones, and then we have a certain level of overtones that come out of the nose as well. Your voice does come out your nose. It's supposed to. So she has her nose totally flared there, as well as we have this concentration peak here and the lift of the brows. So we're creating a lifted, focused point of her voice coming out. Jaw down, relax. I mean, everything. I love it all. I love all of it.
The wizard and
And her change, the wizard and you're like, wait, what? The wizard and what? The wizard and what? Are we gonna change locations? Is the music changing into locations? Yes, we are. Who called it small? Here's the small. I was telling you about small, and then it pops open again.
Unlimited. My future is unlimited.
And sometimes she does focus on the unlimited. There are times that she focuses on the N, but this time she doesn't. Unlimited. She really opens up on the open space of this word, but I have heard her hold down on the N. I almost would have expected her to hold down on the N because she's done it before here, but truthfully, this sounds amazing to me. So it is not a complaint. It's just something that I've noticed. It's absolutely not a complaint.
Unlimited.
And I like the lead in not unlimited, unlimited. It gives us this like back and then limited. We have, again, push and pull, which is perfect with this going on.
And I've just had a vision almost like a prophecy.
Oh, and this was crazy too.
I know it sounds truly crazy.
Truly crazy.
And true, the vision's hazy.
Vision. There was that hold on the vibration. Instead of visions hazy, it's not open. Visions hazy, as she holds on the consonant instead of holding on the vowel. I really do think this is a actual choice of hers. And she puts it in somewhere because sometimes she doesn't and sometimes she does.
But I swear someday there'll be a celebration throughout.
Look at her face. Look at the expression.
All to do.
Small space into big space.
With me. And I'll stand there with the wizard, feeling the things I've never felt. And though I'd never show it, I'd be so happy I could melt.
We are 39 minutes, almost 40 minutes into this reaction, and we just now hit this part. I mean, like, I feel like sometimes people don't realize how talented a singer is, how many levels of complexity that are put into her voice, and they only give credit to the belts. They only give credit to, now granted, I am giving credit to, we are going to break it down, absolutely, but at the same time, it's taken 40 minutes to go through the little details that she's done, and I haven't even pointed them all out. I've skipped quite a few of them where I'm like, okay, I already stopped that enough. You guys are gonna fucking kill me. But that just means there's so much to singing. There's so many levels, so many layers, and she just plays with all of it. And we just now are getting into this belty part. I run out of words, you guys. Okay, it's the whine, it's the wail. She is wailing. Isn't the Defying Gravity song supposed to be like a war cry, right? Like have a little bit of that in it? The "and I'll stand there." That is my favorite part of this song. And I'll stand there, because each one she's wailing at the beginning of. Each one. Her voice does this crack and this break right before it. And it just, that's my answer. That's my word. To go from that small, that straight tone, just delicate, to this wailing. Oh, and the E, mind you, this E is one of the hardest vowels for people to belt on. It just is. Some people love E. I personally love E, but if I'm gonna belt, it's gonna be on an ah. Why? Because ah is the most open vowel. Anything that I can adapt to an ah, and you will notice a lot of songs, when they're big belty songs, will land on an ah vowel or an eh vowel sound, which eh can be close to the ah, because you have more space. When you have more space, it's easier to sing, it's easier to get more power from. E is really small. really small, so it's very difficult to belt on an E. It oftentimes gets muffled. The tongue gets in the way because the tongue naturally needs to be there in order to make that sound, but the tongue gets in the way, which puts the back of the mouth closed, so you end up getting more of a muffled sound. And then when it's muffled, you have more tension, and it's just not good. It's just not good. And that is also why a lot of times you'll hear singers in songs adapt the E to an eh. Never enough. That song, right? From Greatest Showman. For me, for me, for me. Me, not for me. It's meh, There's the vowel adaptation in the E. But she can't do that here. And truthfully, she doesn't need to. There is an there is an in the E. So it's not with me, it's with me, There's a little bit of in there to give at least a little bit more air or space in there, which she does. But she blends it so well, you really don't even notice. And then the riff, and then the vibrato. Yeah. Now stand there. That's my favorite part. That's my favorite part of the whole song. Is that wail.
And so it will be for the rest of my life.
Just hitting it over and over. Till I. It's so small and so forward and so aggressive, and then she pops a little bit on that I. Till I. Why? Because I is an ah vowel adaptation. Till I. She has a moment. Till I die, and then she goes back into die. Till I.
Held in such high esteem. When people see me, they will scream.
When people see me, they will scream. The notes on here are also very difficult. Da 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 da, back down. Da 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 da, back down. And then another E. I don't know how she's doing it on that E vowel. That's why the song is so hard. That's why you don't hear a lot of people sing this song, because of that damn E vowel. And she is nailing it. Thank you. But there is space. You can see space on her mouth on there. Okay, there is space. See that space? T. She's trying to get as much space as she can. There's still the divot.
The wizard.
Uh.
And
She's nailed it.